I have to admit, seeing how many of you requested this, my hand was pretty much forced. But hey, I'm not complaining. So here we are, diving right back into the world of our favorite dangerous queen. And let me tell you, this episode, it's everything. The rain was coming down hard, making the city lights bleed together into a beautiful, blurry mess. Inside the club, the bass was a constant thrum against your chest, the kind you feel in your bones. Laughter and chatter filled the air, but for Lara, there was only one person in the entire room. Queen. Queen had always been this untouchable figure, a mix of magnetic charm and pure danger. But tonight, something was different. There was a crack in her armor, a hint of vulnerability that made everything feel so much more real. For Lara, the desire she'd been fighting, the thoughts she'd been pushing down, they weren't just thoughts anymore. It was a living, breathing force between them, impossible to ignore. Lara's heart was hammering as she started to move through the crowd. Every step felt like she was crossing a line, stepping into a world she wasn't supposed to be in. She saw Queen talking to someone, but Queen's eyes kept darting back to her, a little flicker of acknowledgement. Then, that infamous smile played on her lips, that knowing, slightly wicked grin. In that instant, all the noise, the music, the people, it all just faded away into the background. You came. Queen's voice was low, a little teasing, as Lara finally stood in front of her. The scent of her perfume hit Lara like a wave. It was warm, dark, and completely intoxicating. It was enough to make her knees feel weak. I wouldn't miss it, Lara managed to say, trying to sound cool and casual, but her voice was shaky, betraying just how nervous she was. This was the moment she had been replaying in her mind for months, the chance to finally be this close to the woman who had completely taken over her thoughts. Queen leaned in, her eyes doing a slow scan, from Lara's head all the way down to her toes. You're brave, or maybe just reckless, she whispered. Then she reached out and gently brushed a damp strand of hair from Lara's face. That one simple touch, so small, so light, sent a jolt, a shiver, all the way down Lara's spine. That was the thing with Queen, the thrill of danger was always there. Every conversation felt like a gamble, every smile was a risk. But it was a risk Lara was more than willing to take. It was impossible to resist. They found a quieter corner, away from the chaos of the dance floor and the judging eyes of the crowd. The rain was still drumming against the big glass windows, creating these beautiful streaks of light that danced across their faces. And then, Queen's hand found Lara's, her fingers lacing through them like they were always meant to be there. This wasn't just about physical attraction anymore. It was something deeper, a connection that didn't need words to be understood. I've wanted this, Lara finally admitted, her voice so soft it was almost lost in the sound of the rain. For so long, Queen's whole expression softened. For a split second, that tough exterior melted away, and Lara saw a flash of that vulnerability she'd noticed earlier. Dangerous things come with a price, Queen said, her voice just as quiet. She gently traced Lara's jawline with her fingertip. Are you sure you're ready for that? Lara didn't even have to think about it. She didn't hesitate for a second. With you? Always. And then it happened. The kiss. It wasn't rushed or frantic. It was slow, deliberate. And it tasted like everything they hadn't said, like rebellion, like longing, like all the secrets they were now sharing. It was electric. The kind of kiss that makes the entire world just disappear. The club, the rain, the city lights, none of it mattered. The only thing that was real was Queen's lips on hers. They pulled back, just enough to breathe, their foreheads resting against each other. You're my favorite, Queen confessed, her voice barely a whisper, almost lost to the storm outside. But don't let anyone else know. A smile spread across Lara's face. The idea of having this secret, just between them, only made it all feel more intense, more special. Your secret's safe with me, she whispered back, and she meant it. The hours just melted away. They talked, they laughed, they just held each other close in their little bubble. Queen started opening up, sharing stories about her past, about the hard choices she had to make that turned her into the person she was today. She talked about why she built those walls so high around her heart. And for the very first time, Lara got to see behind the mask. She saw not just the dangerous Queen that everyone else saw and feared, but the woman underneath it all, a woman who could be tender, who had been broken, but who could also love so fiercely. Eventually, the storm outside started to calm down, leaving the city streets glistening under the glow of the streetlights. They finally stepped out of the club, wrapped up in each other's arms, just soaking in the quiet intimacy after a night that was so full of noise and chaos. Tomorrow, the world comes back, Lara murmured, her voice soft against Queen's shoulder. Queen nodded, a faint smile on her lips. But tonight, it's just us, and in that one perfect, fleeting moment, they were completely free. Free from the rules, free from what everyone else expected of them, and free from the danger that always seemed to follow Queen around. For Lara, being the Queen's favorite wasn't about having some kind of special privilege. It was about trust. It was about a passion that couldn't be controlled. And it was about a love that simply refused to be tamed. As they walked off into the night, hand in hand, disappearing into the quiet city, it was so clear that this was just the beginning. A dangerous love story, for sure, but it was one they were both willing to risk absolutely everything for. And on that note, we have to leave it there for this part. I know, it's cruel. But trust me, you're going to want to be here for what comes next. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss a single second. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.